Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you got the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. So there's an interview over on Shaq News Interviews over on their YouTube page. I'll leave a link in the description down below. He does an interview with the creative director for the 2K franchise, the WWE games, Lionel Jinx. Shoutouts to them. And he talks about how last-gen consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One, are absolutely holding back the franchise from breaking through to new tech and new features and new things like that. Anyway, so I just want to play this little clip, then we'll discuss. I'm going to mute myself too.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones where you're like, in order to like really change this thing, like, you know, we'd have to adopt like, you know, like kind of like the spline or fur techniques that like are, you know, very like intense on graphics. And we just don't have the capacity to support two different pipelines for, you know, current gen and the older gen consoles. So like, you know, one day when we're focused on like the next gen hardware, I'm hoping we can make that jump. But what we're able to do with the current tech is impressive, considering that, you know, we're still supporting all of the other things that we've always supported in past games.
How does the new...
So he just literally says the last gen is holding the series back. And that kind of sucks. Now I get there's a lot of money on the table. There's a lot of money. A lot of players on the last gen hardware. The economy is inconsistent. The new tariffs are going to make the new consoles probably cost even more. So it's going to be even harder to get on new consoles. This year feels like it's the first step to leave the PS4 and Xbox One behind. To really push the series forward, we've got to drop the Xbox One and the PS4. I'm sorry, guys. It's got to happen eventually. I don't think they would want to hire a new team to make the old system games and then a team to make the new system games. I mean, with the Switch 2 coming out, you would think that they would probably keep making it on the last gen hardware, but we got to get to a point where we can finally move on and get that big breakthrough year. Like I said a few seconds ago, I feel like this is the cusp of them trying to get the franchise where it needs to be. He's talking about hair mostly. It's like the hair function, the hair features. So this tells me that the creative superstars are going to look exactly the same. We just had a new trailer come out this morning. I was at work, so I didn't get to cover it right away. So make sure you check out that video too. I mentioned everything I noticed in the video and things I'm excited for. This tells me that the creative superstar is probably going to be exactly the same, because until we get to that point where we can upgrade the tech, they can't currently because it's stuck on old gen. Everything has to work on the PS4. So he literally just said they don't have enough time or resources to make, you know, for the pipeline to make two different versions of the game. And later on in the interview, he talks about how they like the 9-month window to make these games, because in 2K22 they had to remove a bunch of stuff, even though they had that extra 8-9 months to make the game because they skipped a year. They had to remove a lot of stuff because some of the superstars that were in like My Rise and other things, I believe that was the one where they had the Fiend in My Rise and they had to remove that whole section. He said they had to remove a bunch of content they had created because the wrestlers were either gone or WWE requested it to be removed, which kind of really screwed them up because they're like, and then all the models and stuff were old, so it was hard to keep the models up to date. The moves, maybe they changed gimmicks, music. So they said it was like a nightmare to try to keep the game current over those 2 years, because when you only have 9 months to make the game, which is their window, they can keep everything current. It's only within the last year. So that sucks, and it sounds like they like that. To me, that's terrible news, because that means they will never ever switch from the yearly release. And that really, really sucks. I know they're contractually obligated to make a new game every year, but I feel like WWE is getting big enough, it's huge enough, especially now that it's on Netflix, to where we got to get more funding for the game to have two different teams work on projects, kind of like they do with Call of Duty and what they were doing with Assassin's Creed. So you have one team make one game 1 year, and then you have another team make the game the next year. And it could be the same game, it's just two different teams, right? That way we can get big, huge leaps forward in the franchise and finally get the franchise where it needs to be. I mean, the stuff I'm seeing this year, it blows my mind. This is stuff I've been asking for the last 10, 15 years, and it's simple stuff that they've removed years and years ago. Like intergender matches, destructible environments, different environments, third-person camera. I kind of wish they had that in the old ones, but it's been like this in every wrestling game for so long, the preset cameras, I just never really thought about it. But having that third-person camera, it literally just changes everything. And I can't wait to try to master the gameplay with the third-person camera. I'm going to make it so it's on all the time, and unless I hate it, who knows, I might actually hate it. But it doesn't sound that difficult. I mean, all you got to do is hold this button down, RT, and you have your functionality back of the joystick. It makes perfect sense to me. And someone was mentioning different scenarios that they've been trying the third-person camera on, like on top of the Hell in the Cell. I never thought about doing that. That's awesome. Just walking around the arena, you can get the full look of the arena. It makes the game so much more immersive, and it makes it feel like a action game or a role-playing game. That's huge. Rather than just having, and then especially when there's a bunch of wrestlers on screen, even in single player, and the camera just pans out and out, and I bumped the mic, and it just keeps panning out, and you're like microscopic on the screen. Having that third-person camera will fix that. I think that's huge. Unless, of course, you're trying to play two-player, which I don't have anybody here that wants to play the game with me, so it doesn't bother me any. So yeah, make sure you check out the whole interview. He asks a lot of good questions, but the two main things that stuck out to me were, like I said, the fact that last-gen hardware is, in fact, holding back the games, and the fact that they like the 9 months turnaround window because it keeps the game current and fresh for all the stuff they've made, rather than having those 2 years like they did in 2K22 where they had to remove stuff and trying to just change the attires or gimmicks or music. It sounded like it was a big pain. So that sucks. Hopefully they get to a point to where they go to, like, I don't want to say free-to-play model because I hate free-to-play games, but they're building the game that way anyway. It's like, make one game, build off of it for the entire generation. But then we don't get these huge, massive, like, gameplay improvements that we've been needing, It's just like they're slightly getting better every single year, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I like wrestling games. I really like all the stuff I'm seeing this year. I just feel like it's always missing that one thing. Always missing that one thing. And I guarantee you that's the trick. That's the carrot on a stick that gets us to buy the games every single year, because it's that one extra thing. It's that one extra thing. And a lot of us fall for it every single year. Anyway, sound off the comments below. How do you feel about this? Thank you for watching, and stay frosty.